Hello, everyone, and welcome to CritNit. Here on our first episode that we are officially recording, we've finally gathered our great players and characters here to start this wonderful tale. And I shall introduce myself as Sawyer Fisher, DM of this wonderful adventure. And just to introduce a little bit of our players, and they will each give a little introduction about their characters, just to give a little bit more of a idea of who they are. Starting with our fellow Chris, Cornish.
Hey everybody, my name is Chris, and I'll be playing a character named Ghastgar. He is a mongoose, but he's also a biological experiment, and we don't really know much about that at this point. He is an artificer. The reason why he is starting to hang around the guilds, and especially the guild hall now, is the last time he had any sort of interaction that was meaningful was with his friend Bartholomew Juggler, and he suddenly disappeared. Bartholomew said he was going to join the guild, so I guess I better find out why.
Very good. James?
Hi, I'm James Jamtaas, and I am playing the Tiefling Kruz, who is a retired military veteran who set up a blacksmithing shop in the town of Hopal. He's going to the guild because he wants to be licensed to hunt down monsters so he can make his own more weapons and everything else. And I guess I didn't say he was the fighter of the group.
All right. Take it away, Elliot.
Hi, my name is Elliot Flower, everybody, and I will be playing the illustrious Vall, a scouting rogue who is struck out from his home in the southern Sandlands, and I use the term home very loosely, as it's more like it's one murder scene to the next. That is the level of darkness he's trying to even out and escape. So he comes to Hopal in the goals of setting up shop, getting secure work, and maybe fulfilling some hidden goals I ain't going to tell the crowd right now.
All right. Mr. Riggs, last but not least.
Hey, everyone. My name is Chris Riggs. You probably ever hear everyone refer to me as Riggs, which is fine. I'm playing a character named Parker Prax. He is a Satyr bard. And he came to Hopal in a kind of a soul-searching manner, looking for answers that only the people around him can answer.
Serious. All right. And with that, within the world of Edranis, on its namesake supercontinent, lies the humble country of Everrain, normally a place full of bright eyes and excitement. On this day, however, the rain seems to fall with a particularly somber patter within the capital city of Hopal. It is said that those in Everrain can read a land by its rain, and on this day, slouched jowls and sunken eyes that hardly acknowledge passerbys exude the worry within each one. This, the morning of the first Withnik of the month of Gree, within the sun of Openda, marks the time of worry for the world, as an unknown danger has once again begun lurking beneath the earth that could strike at any moment, without warning and without mercy. Here, within the sloshing streets of Hopal, we find a sharp-eyed Leonin named Vall, who is particularly uncomfortable with this amount of water falling from the sky upon him, taking the final bounding leaps to the great doors of the Guild Hall of Hopal. Vall, you reach the guild halls right as they swing wide open for you. A disturbed-looking human begins to storm past you into the rain, completely ignoring it as to the best of his abilities, a look of absolute annoyance on his face. It just begins storming away.
It's like he knew that I was approaching and got preemptively mad, and then he left. Oh well, it's no matter. I will be out of this accursed rain and is inside by the fireplace in moments.
As you enter the Guild Hall of Hopal, you enter into a large circular room. This room spans about 200 feet across by 200 feet. On the center, there is a secondary ring of desks, each one interlocked to one another, at which a secretary sits between at each one, doing paperwork, speaking to guests and various other people who need business done. A line splits each one of these desks that leads across the desk, down to the floor, across the floor, to the wall, up the wall, into the ceiling again, where it meets in a small point above the desks itself in the ring. Each one of these lines is color-coded, and it seems as though each one seems to represent some form of what you would remember as the actual guilds. At the moment, you see about 50 people, each one moving in and out and around. However, what catches your eye is to the right of you. You see a reporter, or someone at the moment working with the local press, attempting to question a dragonborn woman. And she seems to be very feverish in her questioning. And beyond that, at the far end to your right, up against the wall, you see a large brown tarp, under which you can just barely start to make out rumpled, kind of crushed looking, what looks to be almost like some kind of like material of some sort. You can't quite make it out at the moment, unless you'd want to take a moment to see if you can make it out a little bit better.
Absolutely. Curiosity drives me to my absolute wit's end.
All right. Roll perception.
Perception roll was a 14. So a total of 20.
Oh, with a 20, you are able to deduce even from this distance that it is in fact what was once a claw. You can see that two of the fingers have been broken and is kind of sitting at a strange angle, kind of curling back underneath the tarp. And the tarp itself is about 15 feet high. And it just seems to be exuding these small appendages of some sort. Definitely not humanoid, as you could tell. And with a 20, you can also notice to the left, through the crowd, you can see about 12 linen sheets laid across the ground with what look to be human silhouettes underneath them, humanoid in a way. These are much further away from you, and the woman and her reporter, or the reporter, speaking to the pale dragonborn, her questions have now begun to get even more feverish, and she's beginning to get nigh, not erratic. He looks like she's getting really angry by this point. What do you do?
Well, they're having this out in the public, so they wouldn't mind if I listened in.
Okay. As you begin to move towards these two, you begin to hear words of, "I understand that you've told us you don't know how this happened, but you know what month it is, you know what is happening. Do you have any information as to whether or not it's going to be Hopal that is attacked by the fracture this year?" This is the human reporter speaking to the pale dragonborn, and she just shakes her head. You see that her eyes are in fact closed up to this point, and she just responds without opening them, "We have no new information. I've spoken to you before about this. I have given you all that I know. These creatures came to the surface. We fought them back. They don't seem to be any more, and none reached the outside. This was a segregated incident. This happens on occasion, and I would very much appreciate it if you left right now and stopped bugging us, as we have much work to do." And at that, you definitely see the reporter, stomp her foot, turn on her heel, scribbling something down in her letter, and begin to storm past you towards the door, almost knocking over a small mongoose, who then enters the door and sees a angry woman storming out past you.
Oh, angry people are fools. So I'm going to throw a hand into a pocket and grab whatever I can.
Oh, well then, roll side ahead.
That is a 16.
With a 16, especially with her anger, she does not feel you suddenly reach into her pocket and slip out two things: a small notebook and a cred stick.
Ooh, I like notebooks. They contain things. And how many creds?
40 credits.
Okay, cool. Okay.
And by the way, Sawyer, my passive perception is 16.
Oh yeah, no, you see this.
Okay, I'm going to, as I'm continuing to scurry into the guild hall, I'd like to do two things. I'd like to take a look around, get to know what my surroundings are, and then joyfully flip through this notebook.
Okay. Make a perception check and an investigation check.
Okay, that is a 12 and a 12.
2 12s. For your perception check, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people moving in and out and around. You do see a pale dragonborn seeming to be the place from where the woman stormed from. Just kind of standing there, almost kind of taking stock of what she was doing as she was leaving. And then you just see her kind of turn on her heels and begin to walk back to the desks, the far end. For your investigation, as you begin to just flip quietly through the notebook that you pilfered, you can't make out anything. It is in shorthand scribble, and it is very difficult to understand.
Looks like a bit of junk here. Dang it. Well, at least I got some money. And I toss it on the ground.
Okay.
So, as I'm walking in, I know you were describing the scene to what Elliot saw, but do I see the tarps covering humanoid bodies?
You do.
What is the guard situation around the humanoid bodies?
Well, what is interesting, there is only one guard set at each one of these things. One at the tarp, one at the humanoids beneath the cowls, or beneath the satin sheets. There is, at the large pile of monstrosities, it seems, a massive, hulking dragonborn. And he stands there cross-armed, scanning the room back and forth, back and forth.
What about the others?
The other one, you notice a thin half-elf standing there nonchalantly, just kind of looking bored. He's not really scanning the room. He has his sword out, but he's using it just kind of to lean on and just kind of eyes darting left to right, left, and then just kind of falling on the ground. And he's not looking for anything. He's just kind of looks like if this was a job that he was given that he's not exactly happy he has to do.
Is this one big long tarp like that the bodies
No.
are under? Or
There are 12 individual ones.
okay, well, I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to scamper underneath a tarp and investigate a body.
All right. Well, make a stealth check, please.
That's a 19.
In. All right. Making your way to the closest sheet, you are able to kind of time his look, slip out underneath one of the sheets, and become very, very close to a human at the moment. Pale, very dead. You see his throat had been slashed, and his armor in the front, which seemed to have been some form of breastplate, is split in half.
Good God. What's in his pockets?
Roll a investigation check or sleight of hand, whichever one is higher.
22.
With the 22, you are able to pilfer a. Okay. Do you want anything of value here, or
Ghastgar's always looking for things of a technological nature to help him with inventions and such. Yeah, magic tech drives are always a big plus, but anything more intricate is a big boon.
okay? Well, this person in particular has a ring on, and that's about it.
What kind of metal is the ring?
It's made of gold.
Gold is good for wiring. I'll take the ring.
Okay.
I've just pilfered the second person's wedding ring, haven't I?
You can only hope.
At least this one's valuable.
Fair.
I'd like to, we can maybe do this as a group of checks if you want, but I want to continue trying to scurry from thing to thing.
Okay. Well, as you are doing that at the moment, Parker, the woman has finally returned who was helping you before being rudely taken away from her desk via a berating reporter who just would not accept a no for an answer and just absolved to allow you to wait patiently. Take her to the side. Kruz, you, who have also been waiting with said Parker, have been a little bit more annoyed because you were attempting to be helped, still in line, and then the line pretty much stopped moving. And it's been about 30 minutes by this point. But she has finally returned. She opens the ring of desks, comes back, closes it, sits down. My apologies. I did not intend for that to have taken as long. She was persistent to a point of idiocy. Now, where were we? Oh yes, we were talking about requirements. Basic requirements for joining the guild hall. You gain access to the fracture, of course. You are able to travel in and out unberated by our guards. On top of that, you gain the ability to take contracts, gain any amount of credits said within contracts, and keep anything within the fractures that you deem of worth and bring out by your own volition that is not tied to any particular contract.
Wait, so if it's tied to a contract, do I have to give it to the contract holder?
You will have to give it to us, yes.
How do I know if a certain item's tied to a contract?
It will be written in the contract. I will be giving you a copy of every contract you take.
Oh, I thought you were saying that if somebody else had a contract for an item that I have, I had to give it to them.
No. Each contract is group specific or individual specific.
Okay.
Would you agree to these terms and conditions? And are you still interested in joining?
But so I did hear a rumor that magic can be used down in these fractures. Is this rumor true?
Well, now you are touching on a very interesting subject there. The fractures are strange. You must understand that wherever it leads, we don't know. We don't know what formed them. We don't know what they are. Magic, at least the olden days magic, seems to permeate it to an extent. There are creatures down there who still use what seems to be old magic abilities, old magic characteristics, and objects do tend to use less of a magitech-based energy source than would normally be used up here. So in a word, yes, but this is erratic and on occasions very dangerous. So I would not rely on it, but it does happen. So be aware of that.
And very interesting, very.
So what do we need for other than just signing these contracts?
I personally need you to sign your name upon a contract with us, the Guild of No One. Upon signing this contract, you will be admitted as a guild member, and after that, you just need survive. Because if you die down there, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. The moment you delve into a fracture, you are on your own, so to speak.
What resources will the guild be providing us to prepare us for the fracture dives?
That will be determined by your guild leader, who at the moment is in the guild lobby. If you do join, you will be seeing him to all your outfitting needs.
I'm standing there in full equipment. I was coming at my best, so she can tell I have something strapped to my hip. I have a shield across my back. I'm wearing a long cloak, so I'm ready to go now. She also, I don't know if she can see it, but there's also a hammer hanging from my waist.
Nope. All right. So you ready to go. Ghastgar, please roll 4 sleight of hand checks.
24, 21, 19, 18.
You get 3 bodies in. Upon the third one, you hear I'm sorry. Did that just... The other 2, you were able to pilfer about 60 credits worth. Each one of them seemed to have had some form of currency on them. Both of them seem to have died via slash wounds, similar to the first one. But upon this third one, as you grab the cred stick, it kind of falls, and when you move, it kind of twitches the sheet a little bit. You feel the satin sheet rip off as a very concerned-looking elf tears it off of you. I'm sorry, what are you stealing from these?
I don't know what sounds Mongoose make.
He's...
And then I scamper.
Does a 21 hit you?
Yeah.
Okay, so... Okay, what are you wearing at the moment for equipment?
Oh, I'm fully... This looks strange. I am fully decked out.
Alright. What kind of armor are you wearing at the moment?
Oh, studded leather.
Studded leather armor. Alright. So, seeing you hissing and being very much a sentient creature... Wow, that really stinks. You take 3 points of slashing damage as he takes up the sword that he was leaning on and slashes at you with it, cutting a small portion of your shoulder as he does.
Ah, shoot! Ow! Shoot! Hiss!
You see him look back and... gods! We have a thief! Vall, Parker, Kruz, you all hear, "We have a thief," shouted by one of the guards, pointing to a small mongoose, clad in armor?
Yes, I can confirm. That is a thief. I saw him steal on his way inside the doors.
Can I roll a persuasion check and just go, Spot, come here, boy?
Persuasion check on what?
The guard does make him think he's a dog.
No.
Dang it.
He's fully clad in armor.
James, I need to know. Do you say this?
Screw it. I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to try to just make him think he's my dog. I'm going to go, come here, Spot, come here. And I'm going to pat my legs, and I'm going to try to motion him over.
Do I hear this? Sawyer, do I hear this?
Yes, you hear it.
I am an opportunist at the core. I bolt right over.
Okay.
Wait,
heard this.
Hold on. Are you bolting over on all fours or just 2?
Oh yeah.
Does a 16 hit you?
It just hits.
Wonderful.
That is my armed class.
Okay. For the opportunity of attack as you leave his threatened square, the guard, not at all convinced of anything at the moment, as you have just been stabbed, stolen, and then run, you take 6 points of slashing damage as you get caught in the back by a longsword. As other guards also begin to descend upon you, you make it and I take it using your action, the 30 and about 40 feet you'd be away from, you just scamper over to the red tiefling calling your name, just right up to his feet.
I'm totally going to act like he's my dog, and if you say, who's a good dog?
I jump up onto his shoulder. I mean, I've come to a guild hall. I recognize that they must be hiring, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, this all checks out with logic. Like, I know these things.
Yeah.
Hey, you, lady, are you hiring?
You see her look at you and... Yes?
Give me a contract. Quick!
Looking over at the guard, she kind of crosses her arms and then nods, and she pulls out a contract and hands it to you.
I scribble my signature into it as fast as I possibly can.
Perfect. She takes the contract, slides it underneath, and then pulls out another contract and hands it to you.
What was that one I just signed?
She hands it to you and says, well, that one is for my personal requests. This one is the one to join the guild hall.
Ah, you son of a gun. And I scribbled my name onto that one.
She takes it and she slips it beneath the table. And upon that, the guards have now officially descended upon you. There's about 14 of them. Several of them you could loosely call guards. Most of them are clad in a similar kind of iridescent, kind of rainbow-like material. Those are the general guard. Usually their garb is used to represent all of the guilds. But several just guild members, hearing a thief within the guild hall, have also descended upon you.
I'm with her!
The secretary of the Guild of No One stands up, puts her hands up, and says, "It is all right. It is all right. It is taken care of." At this, several of the guild members, mostly the ones without iridescent armor, immediately look to her, then shrug, and sheath their weapons and begin to go back to their normal daily jobs. The guards hesitate ever so slightly before she kind of looks at them, though again, her eyes have never opened, and each one of them individually begins to pad off back to their respective positions.
Nothing like making enemies and taking damage.
Well, now that we have one new recruit, Parker, Kruz, was it?
It was.
Would you both still be interested in joining the guild hall?
I'm interested. I am not going to get into the fracture and get any of these monster parts without it, right?
I mean, you could put in an order to purchase them. However, again, they are quite expensive given the amount of effort that has to go into procuring them.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to not do that. So I can barely afford to keep doors open now, much less pay for materials. So let's do it.
Wonderful. She pulls out a contract, lays it upon the desk, and slides it to you. Parker?
Hey, read that contract before you sign.
I'm gonna read through it. Is there anything I noticed weird about the contract? Like, is it heavily one-sided at all?
No, it is a very basic contract. It is pretty much giving you permission to join the guild, speaking to you as a benefactor of anything that you would receive from the guild or from the fractures itself, excluding all pieces of said contracts. It also goes into full detail as to the fact that the guild hall represents you, and the guild hall itself is a separate entity, and you represent it completely. Therefore, the city and country, the city of Hopal and the country of Everrain, do not hold sway over you. You are officially their jurisdiction, and any infractions must be reported to them directly.
While they are talking to her, I'd like to use Mage Hand to try and get back the other contract.
You cannot see it. You must be able to have line of sight upon the object that you are trying to pull.
You're screwed.
After hard questioning the judgment of this woman, after giving the thievingly accused Mongoose a contract into the guild,
I will assign your contract, but this better be a very fruitful exchange.
Oh, I assure you, those who do not die on their first or second contract begin to live very comfortable lives here. And she slides you a contract.
Then I will sign.
Right. 3 of you have signed contracts. Vall, you've watched this all go down. What are you doing amongst this chaos?
So once the guards have backed off, we're going to go back to there. And since the attention was all over there, Vall's going to sneak around the room. Just casually move himself off to the side before he can cut in to where this mongoose was with sticky fingers.
Right?
So he's going to try and silently pad up and lift off the mongoose an item.
Oh, roll sleight of hand.
That is a natural 19 for a 24.
Elliot, call it high or low.
I'll call it high.
On your weapons list, 3rd item.
My claws.
Your 2nd item.
Oh man, please don't make him take that. It's my shadow glass dagger.
Oh, you lift a curved blade off of him, very finely crafted, and he doesn't seem to notice.
And I will then stalk the rest of my way up to the counter.
Arriving at the counter, concluding the now or beginning and listening to the bantering between the two, the contracts, everything going on, she looks to you. Notices you are not wearing any particular semblance or band of any of the other guilds, and are you here to join the guild hall as well?
Well, seeing how low the bar is for entrance, Vall tosses the shadow glass dagger onto the counter.
Do I see this?
Yes.
Hey, that is mine.
Did you not read the first contract?
I no, I have gone over there and I am attempting to take back what is mine.
Okay. Interestingly enough, she allows it. You pick up your dagger once again. Well, she motions to you, Vall, and offers up one more piece of paper and slides it to you.
And Vall just pours over it lazily, picks it up off the counter, turns around, puts his back to the counter, puts one leg up. He's almost on the counter at this point, just skimming over this.
He waits patiently.
Is there a sunspot on the counter where you get nice and warm and cozy?
He lays down on the counter.
She begins to rub your belly and pat your head. And
Does Humball begin to purr?
And skimming through the document, I don't notice anything suspect, do I?
no, this is very much a clean-cut contract. It makes a very detailed amount of effort in order to clarify what the kind of working relationship is between you, the guild hall, and the surrounding areas, what a contract is. It breaks everything down very cleanly. It doesn't leave any room for any kind of flimflammery.
Seems acceptable. I will sign your contract.
Wonderful. She begins to gather up the contracts, once again, sliding each one of them underneath her desk. And at that, she also produces 4 small pendants, each one of them possessing a kind of crescent moon shape, along with another crescent moon, but the center being empty, though it looks very much like a gem or something should be set there. And she offers each one to you.
I'll take mine.
I take mine.
Each one of you receive your mark of the Guild of No One. And she nods. Welcome. Well, first, now that I know all of your names, I might as well introduce myself, as we're going to be seeing a lot of one another. My name is...
What's your name?
Am I good?
There's a riddle.
No.
Your name
matter
is
of
what?
factly, my name... No, it's not what, it's my name is.
Oh, it's...
Who?
Is your name is?
No, not who or what. They're both on first and second base. No, my name is. I played right field for the Dodgers.
So your
Trust me,
name...
they had the same problem.
Your name is.
No, my name is... No, excuse me. My name is...
Her name is
Your
my
name
name is.
is my name is.
You are correct.
Strange.
I'm going to call you My for short.
You may. I was gifted this name.
I'm calling you Sally.
That's not my name, but if you'd like to call me Sally, I suppose
You're Sally.
I will allow it. All right. I revel in the confusion wrought by it, and it is kind of poetic given the guild that I serve. However, at the moment, as no one, the god of tricks, is like all other gods no longer with us and haven't been with us for thousands or hundreds of years, it's less than impressive. But beyond that, it is a fun trick to play on people. Even though it's not really a trick, it's just my name, but it's funny. Anyway, besides the point, if you would go to the guild lobby, there shall await you a man named Relic. He will be your guild leader, and he will determine what kind of equipment you will need and give you a breakdown upon the contracts I give you. Any assistance, questions, concerns should be reported to him.
Hey, yeah, before I go down there, those jerks earlier, they kind of slashed me up. Yeah, got some bandages or healing potion or, something before we go down there.
That is something you will like to seek Relic about.
Also, I want to see that other contract you made me sign.
Unfortunately, one of the clauses within it mentions that you may never see this contract. So, given the fact that you have signed it, unfortunately, I cannot, per the contract, allow you to lay eyes on it.
Oh, I am going to see that contract.
I assure you, however, troublemaker, you will learn its contents soon enough. Do not worry yourself about that. Now, go see to Relic so I might give you your first contract as soon as I have it written up. And she produces a piece of paper, a tied piece of paper, begins to undo it and copy one to another.
Where did she point to go again?
You pointed directly behind you, following the kind of pie wedge of this. You see the entire guild hall is split into 20 equal pieces. The one leading directly back to you, the line between it is black and leads to a door.
Okay, Kruz is just going to go straight to the door.
The door itself seems carved out of wood of some sort. It seems beautiful. It depicts tricks, small jokes, and various effigies of people in jesters' hats dancing around king's courts. It seems to try to keep to the thematic idea of no one, god of tricks and lies. Do you all enter the guild hall?
Since I know the Guild of No One is all about tricksters, I'm probably thinking that doorknob doesn't work. So I'm just going to push on the door.
Okay. You push on the door. Nothing happens.
I really don't want to twist that doorknob. So I'm just going to turn around and say, okay, I tried. Anybody else want to try?
Are you serious right now? Did you forget how a door works?
I go up and I turn the knob.
Okay. When you turn the knob and you open the door, you notice the door is significantly heavier than would have been initially suspected, given it's carved out of wood? Wait. When you open the door, it reveals itself to be metal. A solid hunk of metal. And as you open it, you do notice that the wood-likeness on the outside has just been painted to look so. So perhaps there was some trickery here. But nothing with the doorknob.
I'm just going to say, all right, you're lucky now, but you got to remember, no one's the god of tricksters, so that could have shocked you.
I don't believe so.
No one, god of tricksters, puts the obvious joke out front.
I would have.
Which is why you're not no one god of tricks.
True. Well, I guess we're going to file in, right?
Yeah, I'll hold the door open for everyone. I want to keep this mongoose within line of sight.
All right.
Vall will dart on ahead.
I'm going to go in last.
I'm sauntering in, but I'm like locking eyes with Parker the entire time.
Well, you staring at Ghastgar. As Ghastgar passes in, Kruz just kind of stops in front of you and stares at you.
In front of who?
Parker, as he's holding the door for you, but you refuse to go in because you wanted to be last.
Oh, I'm just going to motion him in. Like, go ahead. I'm going to motion him, and I'm going to say, after you, sir. It's only polite.
I'm already holding the door. Please, I insist. I have it. It's okay.
But it's so rude. Please, go in, sir.
Out of kindness, I will secede to your kindness, and I will enter.
I'm going to put a big hand just above his head on the door and just hold the door.
You guys laugh. I have lived this scenario.
I think every human being has lived this scenario.
This is a common occurrence in Minnesota.
Battle of the door holding.
Minnesota is just South Canada anyway.
While this is going on, I definitely go up to Vall and goes, "These guys are idiots."
For the love of all the dead gods. What a bumbling bunch of fools.
Do I hear this at all?
Nope, you're actively trying to figure out who can enter a door first.
Or how doors work in general.
That's also fair. Having revealed the true nature of doors, having courtesy fighting going on the outside of them, you have now all entered successfully into the guild hall lobby of no one. In doing so, you enter into a room that is brightly lit. Candle lanterns hanging from the ceiling. You see a warm, roaring fireplace, several lounge-like couches. You see to the left of you several cooking stations. You see a large chest with very tightly latched tops to it, most likely some form of ice chest. You see fruits and vegetables and herbs hanging from the ceiling as well, some of which you do not recognize. On the right, you see about 15 doors that continue on down, each one of them marked with a number on the front of it. A weapons rack and armor rack also follow to the far northern side of the room, where a door, or at least what used to be a door, seems to exist on the other side. To the farthest end, a broken door. Hinges shattered, and it seems to almost have been broken in half. And along the floor here, you also see scratch marks and claws. Scratch marks and claw marks, not just claws. Tearing through from that door to the one you are currently entering the door through.
Looks like someone had a rough night last night.
Relic! Relic!
At that, the door number 15 opens, and out steps a very large, old-looking turtle. You see him in a kind of tan duster with a huge hat, like wide-brimmed. Underneath, he has a lot of really, really dusty, holy shirts. Almost seems like he's wearing about 3 or 4 of them all at once. You see at his hips several strange-looking weapons that Ghastgar, even you don't recognize off the top of your head. As he begins to saunter into the room, he looks over at you guys and... Don't call my name.
Hey, yeah. So, we were told to talk to you. I need a healing potion. We're new to the guild.
Y'all just get admitted. I ain't seen you here before. I'd like to see your badges.
We're brand new, and I'm gonna flop mine out of my cloak.
All right. My name is really starting to get this recruiting going fast then, I guess. All right. Well, now, if y'all are going to be joining the Guild of No One, you ought to know who I am. My name is Relic. And I am the leader of this here guild. Contracts, loot, everything y'all know is going to be going through me. Now, with this said, I can only suppose that y'all are here for either money or fame. And I hope that your heads are a little bit clearer than that, and that you each have some kind of way to kill something down there.
Oh, I can kill things.
All the fighters, warriors.
I'm going to walk. Is there any weapons in the weapons rack?
There is.
I'm going to walk over to that and start inspecting it.
Roll an investigation check.
Roll an investigation check on the table.
As soon as I find it.
Roll an investigation check to find your investigation check, please.
With disadvantage.
Okay, I will reroll. Nat 20.
All right. Beginning to inspect these, do you touch them?
No, my hands stay inside my cloak. I'm mostly just leaning down, looking at them. I don't want to take them out of the racks.
All right. Looking through, you do see several very well-crafted swords. You see a long staff. You see a broken halberd. One half and the other half kind of laid next to each other. You also are able to make out several daggers. And a quarrel of arrows also kind of hung at the end with a crossbow that has a broken curvature to the front and has been rendered inoperable. These are all very well crafted, very sturdy, and with the broken halberd and crossbow, you can tell that these would have taken tremendous effort to have shattered.
Can I tell if they're newly broken or have been broken for a while?
With that roll and your knowledge of crafting weapons, you would know that these are fresh breaks. The wood itself has not yet begun to unwarp itself.
Fade. I'm gonna look at Relic and say, what happened to these weapons? Does it have anything to do with that broken door over there?
The Relic just kind of turned his head. Yeah, it's... we had a rough day yesterday. There was, on occasion, creatures from inside the fracture get gutsy, and they come on outside the fracture. Naturally, what the guild was originally here to do was to beat those creatures back. Make sure they didn't get out to attack the civilians. The whole reason we were originally here. Unfortunately, as the guild hall has evolved, the other guilds are much more infatuated with money and contracts that give it. So they're delving deeper and deeper into it and not allowing a lot of people to remain on the surface. That's where the Guild of No One usually picked up the slack. You see, we're not the biggest. We're not the most well-funded. So we usually take our money by the day-to-day of guarding the guild hall. So when those creatures came out, they started tearing through our lobby and making a break for the outside world, we were the only ones that stood to stop them. Unfortunately, with that being said, we lost every one of our members save one. Well, two, if you count me, but I don't think she would.
I'm going to hand him a business card with a gloved hand and say, well, if we want those weapons fixed, drop them by the Tin and Tang. If I'm not there, my apprentice will help.
See him take it, kind of look at you like a mixture of annoyance and then of like resignation of like maybe it, and puts it in his pocket.
I'm gonna look at him and say, look, we're in the same guild, you'll get a fair price. I'm not gonna rip you off with anything. This halberd only has a broken shaft. This Crossbow has a broken bow on it, so they're both finely well made with some great materials. And I'd love to see them back to their former glory.
Would have liked to see them and their wielders back to former glory, that's for sure.
Can't do anything about their wielders, but I can with their weapons.
Right. I'll see about maybe getting those dropped off then. But that's besides the point.
Hey, about that healing potion?
Yes, one of you mentioned you were injured. Let me take a look at that.
I show him a gashing wound right across my chest.
Well, that's a blade cut right there. That's fresh. That's very fresh, actually. I'm sorry, did you just get that right there?
Yeah, I had a run-in with somebody who had a short temper.
You're a troublemaker, aren't y'all?
Yeah, you could say that, yes.
All right, well, let's get you patched up. And you see him produce from his pocket kind of this small vial. And he begins to, almost like a glow stick, crack it and shake it. And the material or the liquid inside turns from a deep red to kind of a lighter red. And you see him load it into one of his guns. And as he does, he kind of holds it up to the kind of cut and clicks the trigger. It shoots the small syringe-like object right next to the cut. Hurts like crazy. But you heal 7 hit points.
Hey, that takes me back up to 12.
And he removes it and sets it to the side. All right, that should keep you over. All right, now for outfitting, because I suppose we're starting to run behind on contracts now that everyone at the moment is inoperable. Do any of you need fresh weapons, armor sharpened, or fresh weapons sharpened, armor made? I will give each one of you, and he pulls out one vial of what he just had for each one of you and hands it to you. Now, these are very expensive. Use them only when you need it, all right? These are meant for emergencies only.
These things are pretty good.
Now, Relic, as a freshly bought colors drop out, I don't have any weapons on me.
So I'm sorry, but you just mentioned that you have no weapons and you are a Bard College dropout.
Recently, yes.
What exactly do you think that you're doing here?
Seeking answers.
For whatever questions you are asking, it better be very, very important to you, because you understand trained fighters go into the guild, go into the fractures, and do not come out.
I believe the questions that are being asked are worth the investigation.
You see him acknowledge you in a way that is more affirming than you actually would have anticipated, given his warning, and he nods. All right. Well, let's see if we can make you at least have something that you can stab at if something bites you. And he begins to motion over to the weapons rack, looking at you, and take your pick. Have one of whatever weapon you so desire.
I strongly don't suggest you taking the halberd or the crossbow.
I will consider your recommendation. And what about this long, skinny one? As I grab the rapier.
Yeah, that can do some damage when wielded correctly. Feel free to it. It served its previous wielder very, very well to the bitter end.
Can I test it for him? I'm gonna walk up to Parker and say, "Can I see it?" And do like a few test slash and a few test lunges with it, just to grade the weapon.
Sure, I'll hand it to him.
All right. Through the couple test swings and slashes, you balance it upon your finger, and no, it is very well crafted. You actually recognize the craftsmanship as that of the Reinhardts.
Do I see the Reinhardt symbol on the hilt or something?
Oh yes, most certainly.
I'm going to hand it back to him and say, not the best crafter, but they provide quality material.
Your knowledge of weapons seems to run deep, so I will take kind to your words.
I'd like to walk up to Relic and be like, hey, so all those guys under tarps, were they your friends?
His eyes fall on you and then kind of fall off of you down towards the floor. Yes. They were my friends. Every one of them was part of the guild hall of no one. I knew each one of them by name, by merit.
I don't know if you know who this belongs to, but I saw this on the floor over in that area, and I picked it up because it's shiny, but here's a gold ring. It kind of looks like a wedding band. Does this mean anything to you?
As he takes it in his hand, and it kind of falls into his palm, and he rolls it over, he looks on the inner side of the ring and notices a small inscription of an initial of TM. His fingers, and I'm very glad that you gave this to me, because this was there was a married couple who was a part of our guild who both fell just out there.
My condolences. Are you or somebody planning a funeral for them or anything? Did they have any kids?
No. It was just us, but
Okay. All right. So all the expenses for their funerals being covered?
Yes, that is one of the things in the contract, of course. If you die, we'll pay for your funeral.
Literally line 2.
But yes, it should be happening within the next couple of days. Y'all are welcome to attend. The only other guild member who's still alive is in no position to attend either, so it'd be nice to have the company.
Give it some thought.
But that's... I still have to get you set up. My name is probably very irritated by this point. All right. Any of you may pick one weapon off of the rack. Take it for what you will. And then after that, you all should be ready and go back to my name is. Tell her that I've approved you for a contract.
I'd like to investigate that rack to see if there's any daggers or guns or anything that is suited for my build.
There is 4 daggers, and there is actually 1 pistol.
Oh, I grabbed the pistol and a pair of daggers.
Okay. In grabbing the pistol and a pair of daggers, he... excuse me. 1 weapon. Please, do not be greedy.
Okay, well, I'd like to take a better look at each of the daggers and the gun, I suppose.
Roll investigation.
Okay. Oh, that's a nat 20.
Well, luckily that you begun to examine the gun in particular, as it's broken. It is missing the hammer, and one of the barrels of the 3 that are there is flattened. It looked like this was stepped on.
Okay, I don't want this one, but I might fix it for you later. And I put it back on the rack.
Okay. The other daggers look just like normal, beautiful daggers. Well made, tied up. Everything here looks pristine. Like, it seems as though with Kruz revealing earlier of the maker of this, the name would ring a bell of the Reinhardts are very good in their craftsmanship.
I will grab a dagger.
Right. Add 1 dagger to that. Vall.
Vall has been watching this happen has been idly running his thumb over the grips of his short sword, feeling the tattered wrapping and knowing exactly the quality of his chipped and dented blade. And he stays silent and doesn't take anything off the rack.
He nods to you. All right. Well, now that we have everyone all situated, just go see my name is and tell her that y'all are approved for a contract. I will meet you out that door. And he points to the broken one. Doorway. Just meet me at the doorway. I'll lead you in. With you all having now picked your weapons, gotten everything that you so desire, you all file back out to go meet with my name is, who at the moment has 2 pieces of paper laid out in front of her desk. She stands, acknowledges you all. I take it you met Relic, and he has approved you for a contract?
He has.
Perfect. Your first contract, as she sits down and pushes the 2 pieces of paper towards you, is to delve into the first layer of the fracture. I want you to bring me back 3 Rottlegum poison claws and a set of drool poison sacks.
Do any of these items ring a bell with me?
Roll a history check.
15 for history.
15 for history. You would recognize the Rottlegums. They seem to be the creatures that kind of hang out nearest to the surface. Other than that, you don't know anything more about them.
I'll relay that information that these creatures seem to be the most surface dwelling and more common along the higher levels.
Do we need any specific tools to harvest these poison sacks or the claws? Do you want just the claw, or can I just bring you their fingers?
She points to the second piece of paper that she had laid out, and it is a perfect anatomical breakdown of both a Rottlegum and a drool, both showing exact precision cuts as to what you would have to do in order to harvest each one of these said pieces without damaging it, and it seems to be able to be done with nothing more than a sharp utensil.
I'm gonna study that page.
I'd like to study that page as well.
Okay, you may take the time to look it over, and it actually is very well detailed. And the ink is still fresh, which is interesting because it is a full breakdown, and it seems as though she just now wrote it in that short amount of time.
Out of curiosity, is that thing under the tarp over there one of the Rattlegums?
She looks to the tarp and, yes, there are several underneath that tarp.
And we go take a look at it so we can get a look at, like, the live thing?
I understand where you're coming from, but unfortunately, those are not our jurisdiction, and if we were to try to actually get them, or even observe them, we would have to start to go through the Guild Sigwin, and they are not the most forthcoming of them. So I would imagine that's going to be less than fruitful.
So that thing killed a bunch of our guildmates, not that we knew them. And we can't even, take a look at the darn thing?
Unfortunately, no. And that is due to a difficult loop in the Guild Hall's clauses between guilds. Guild Sigwin is responsible for beast materials that are brought to the surface that are not part of a contract and not designated to one or another founder. So if someone brings up, say, a Rottlegum, and they just need the claws and they cut the claws off, and they just dump the body on the ground, it is immediately the property of Guild Sigwin. Unfortunately, this also applies to these creatures whom did not have a contract upon them, and any one of our people who would have been able to claim it for slaying it has also been slain. So by law, Guild Sigwin possesses these bodies, and we can't even sell them, touch them, or do anything with them, and I am furious about it.
Stupid red tape.
Guild Sigwin, named after the god of beasts, is the top dog for picking up scraps.
Yes, they are.
And Vall, having said that, is going to fish around in his little bag of trinkets. And he's going to pull up a holy symbol of Friantha, goddess of fire,
All right.
and set that on the table as an opposition to the god of beasts.
My name looks down at the symbol and looks curiously at you, as it is not a guild-designed pendant, but is most certainly a god-like symbol. And there's not a lot of them around here. Like, it's very rare to see someone wearing or possessing a symbol of one of the dead gods, especially just out in the open, lest they be part of the guild, of which this doesn't look like a guild-crafted version. So she's very curious and looks at you and, what is this?
I'm sorry. I've grown up in a very superstitious place. When you are surrounded by any random circumstance, the gods may be dead, but I believe their influences are still very strong. So when I encounter a circumstance that I cannot believe is coincidence, I like to set down the opposing god symbol in attempts to ward it away from myself.
See her sit up and cross her arms. Vall, you are very curious. Very, very curious.
I prefer cautious.
You will make it far in life with that ideology. Never lose it.
My second ideology is running away.
Or making other things run away from you.
I'd like to use this opportunity to try to pickpocket him.
Okay. Roll sleight of hand.
That is a 19.
Vall, your passive is
My passive is 16.
wonderful. All right. Well, let's see what you get here. What is the sixth thing on your item list?
Sixth thing on my equipment list is... I do have to ask, Ghastgar, are you, getting a firm grip on this? It's very important you answer this question.
Oh, I'm always... if I'm pickpocketing something, I'm trying to have a subtle grasp. So I imagine that I'm not, just throwing my hand in and clinching down on things. I am trying to be surgical.
Okay. He extracts a pouch.
Okay. You remove a pouch from Vall of unknown material or origin.
I take a few steps away with it and then wait for them to finish their conversation. And then I turn to my name and go, oh, by the way, I think I forgot to pay my entrance fee. And I set it up on the table.
He looks down at you curiously, and Vall, you recognize that is most certainly a pouch of yours. And she kind of, well, there was no entrance fee, actually. There's no need for whatever this is. And she kind of tentatively tries to reach for it.
I pretty much ignore everything she's saying, and as I'm turning, I just make eye contact with him, wink, and walk away.
As you wink, Vall slaps the bag into your face. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
God.
Oh, that's not good. That's a 4. No, because I had. But it's still. I think it's 8. Yeah, 8.
8 is a failure, and for your benefit, it was not a natural one. As the bag spills open into a mixture of chalk, coal dust, and ground up glass, you are blinded.
You are blinded for one round. Parker and Kruz, you see this happen right in front of you.
You also take 1 point of damage. And he's blinded until he takes a full round action to clean out his eyes.
Ah, son of a... Ah! Dang it! And I'm cleaning out my eyes. I imagine I'm taking my water pouch out and I'm throwing some obscene gestures his way with my mongoose claws, and
I was just gonna look over, see the big cloud of dust, and go back to studying that. Just going, nope, not getting involved.
Vall, that's hideously clever.
I told you, my second strategy is running away. My first strategy is not getting in the fight in the first place.
All right, Ghastgar, you have officially cleaned your eyes out.
I'm gonna hand him the sheet after I see that his eyes are out and say, "Hey, you want to study this, right?"
oh, I thought we had already done that.
You guys both take the time, and you both have thoroughly examined it.
I was just trying to cause a distraction so he didn't go into a farther fight with Vall.
I literally can't make this up. My equipment list goes arrows, backpack, other fun thing, bedroll, other fun thing, blinding power.
Wow. So you have also learned that getting caught by Huum most certainly results in not fun times for you. All right. So now possessing your first contract, and you do notice at the bottom of it, all of your names are signed. And it's strange. Your signatures are impeccable. It is as if you signed this document. And with that, she motions away, and Relic will designate you further and introduce you to the fracture itself. Good luck, and I hope to see you again.
I'm gonna walk towards the guild, and I'm gonna grab the doorknob, and I'm gonna push instead of pull, slam my face right into it.
Okay. Interesting fact, when you push, it does push with you. Except this time it swings upward and taps the ceiling as it is now hinged from the top of the door instead of the side.
I'm still gonna get startled by it.
I would imagine so.
And I'm gonna just stand there and hold it up and say, "After you, gentlemen."
Well, Ghastgar, are you going to go first, or shall I? Because if you keep digging around in my pockets, it will get worse.
Well, you stay out of mine, got it?
How about we all stay out of each other's pockets and play nice?
I was playing nice.
I walk in, but I am not... I am keeping a cautious eye on Huum.
Oh, must be difficult with, that red eye problem you got going on there.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on him, and every now and then just, turning my face away and rubbing the eyes and turning back, a little bit of squinting action. And
It's a brutal item. It's super easy to make.
Ghastgar definitely makes note of it because it is a very useful item.
At this point, having now returned into the guild hall lobby, Relic, at this point, has taken a seat on the sofa and has just kind of been staring at the fire very intently. In hearing you all enter, he stands up very slowly and... All right, looks like you got a contract there. Can I, let me see it. Gotta make sure.
I'm gonna hand it to him.
His neck just kind of snakes to each one of you inside or outside his shell, and once he's finally seats in, going after... I'm sorry, wait. 3 Rottlegum and a pair of... well then, it seems my name is trying to take care of a few things at this point. This is quite the contract, I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like you might be able to actually stand a chance. Perhaps. All right, well, just a quick rundown. Rottlegums, dangerous beasts. They look like they're made of rock most of the time. They lay on the ground. They can't climb or stick to ceilings, and they usually pretend to be some form of boulder. If you see a pile of refuse, make sure it doesn't have eyes. That is the main thing you can see a Rottlegum by, are their pearlescent eyes. They never close them, and they always absorb light, so it seems like it's daylight around them. Keep an eye out for that. Now for the drools, they are a bit more tricky. They can hide on surfaces, upon ceilings, around cracks and crevices, and they spit large lumps of acidic content, and when it hits you, it sticks you. And then after that, it begins to burn through you. So be aware that these creatures can hide in very dangerous places. Make sure that one of you has some form of range to be able to take it down. Well, good luck, and I shall bring you to Tom. And he begins to shamble out towards the broken door. Do you all follow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Leading you through the broken door, you enter another massive circular room. This one bigger than the last. This one looks to be about nigh 1,000 feet on one side and the other. And in the center, there spans a huge crack in the earth. There's no vegetation upon this, and is all just what looks to be packed dirt. But once this fracture kind of hits the corners, it just drops to darkness. The beginning of it is only about 20 feet from the entrance to this door, and looking across, you see similar doors lining each one of them, color-coded as well. Though none of the other doors are broken, only the one that leads into the Guild of No One. The fracture itself does seem to span nigh the entire 1,000-foot length of this room, and the width is about 500 to 700 feet. So it is a large hole in this ground. In the center, you do see a small floating thing. It looks to almost be some form of metallic container with a single spotlight of light stemming from a hole in the ceiling, shining down upon it. And it's actually not floating. Through the light, you are able to see small wires that are holding it up on a pulley system. And in the darkness, as your eyes begin to adjust, as this small pinhole is about the only source of light in here, you notice Relic motion to a small hut on the left side, about 100 feet down. It looks similar to an ice fishing shack, just kind of set off to the side, a dilapidated roof, and a small fireplace where a rotund gnome sits in front of it. As he hears his name called, he stands up and turns to you. And you notice that he is fully clad in what looks to be medium-sized creature's clothes, a very large jacket over him that the sleeves just kind of run off of his hands. You see him grabbing through the sleeve itself a walking stick that seems to bend with every step he takes. His pants just kind of trail behind him, and you almost wonder how he's not tripping over them. The thing that betrays his age the most, though, is his beard. It is about 6 feet long and trails behind him by about 4 feet. And he begins to make his way to you. And he stops a few feet away from you and, "Well, hello there. Name's Tom Tibia, and I will be the one to help you get into the fracture. Well now, don't just stand there. Follow me. And he begins to lead you towards the large gaping hole in the earth. Do you follow?
Mm-hmm.
I follow.
Yes.
Perfect. Leading you to the edge, he stops. And looking up, he smiles, and with his walking cane kind of chokes up on it and points out to the large box hanging in the center of the fracture. That right there is your ticket into the fracture. And that's where we will continue in the next episode. Until next time, I'm Sawyer Fisher. Follow me in the show on Twitter at crit_n_it. And remember to never stop telling stories.